Hello all, my name is Bob Berta. I live in Michigan and I've been asked to do a little bit of a demo of a 8X Roland digital accordion for the Indiana Club. This is an 8X made by Roland, which is their top-of-the-line accordion. However, they have several models going down quite a bit lower to very simple ones on up. So there's one at a price point for just about everybody. What I love about the Roland is that it's all self-contained. There is an amplifier and a speaker built into this one, so you're all fully self-contained, but you can also plug it into an external amplifier if you wish to make it much louder for large groups. Besides having the accordion sounds, which are all synthesized, there's no reeds in this. It also has a lot of additional sounds, basically horns, clarinets, violins, strings, human sounds, and everything else. There's about over 300 in this accordion sounds beyond the accordion. I can also do the accordion sounds, and not just accordion, but different types of accordions. For instance, there are different accordions with particular sounds in Italy, in Germany, in France, United Kingdom, and all these different sounds, types of accordions are actually on this accordion. So not only do I have the full variation of the treble register, just like a regular accordion, I can also pick different types of accordions. So if I want to have a French style accordion or whatever, I can do that also. So you no longer have to have a bunch of accordions, just have one that does them all. So first of all, I'll just play just a simple accordion sound. So this is just a very short piece, so you can see what accordion sound. So as you can see, the basic accordion sound, it's got nice bass, it's got the full set of bass switches over here, 7 of them. You've got the 14 over here, plus this particular accordion also has 3 chin registers, which you can assign to either certain sounds, certain combinations, whatever. So it makes it very powerful. But the real power of a Roland accordion is the additional stuff it can do. You can bring in things that are what they call user programs. The user program consists of both accordion sounds. You can pick out different types of accordions you want to have as part of it. But you can also have a multitude of other instruments, violins, horns, whatever. And so to do that, you look at this, there's a screen up here you can't see, but there's a little color screen on this particular model. And you can bring up different combinations. Whenever you have one you really like, what you do is save it into a user program. This particular model has 100 areas, complete banks of these you can assign it to, and each one has 14, so 1,400 different combinations. Each combination will have things like the left or the right hand, you might have maybe a trumpet and a clarinet combined. The left hand, you could have one sound on the chords, another sound on the bass buttons. Also in this accordion, since it is not a mechanical accordion, you aren't restricted to only having a stradella bass. So while this is set up now with a stradella bass, on the left side I can also set it up for any free bass, Australian style, whatever that might have. For instance, you can have 3 rows of single bass notes and the 3 chords. You can have all single notes like a B or C system bass, whatever you want. You can also get these accordions in the button type on the right side, the chromatic accordion, similar to what you would see in Russia, Scandinavia, it's everything. Okay, what you can do is get a combination which would give you a, here we go, give you a sound that would combine instrumental sounds, like in this case, this is an old Herb Alpert piece, you recognize. Now that was straight. Now if you want, you can add a reverb. There's a little bit of reverb in here. So if you want to make it a little bit liver, you can do that too. things like a xylophone. You might have been hearing some of the bass drums on this side. Besides just playing the bass and chords, I was also getting some percussion on the left side also. And it's not a percussion, we call set drum machine. It's not that. You're actually, each time you hit a button, you'll get a drum sound. You can assign a multitude of different drum sounds to the different keys, which is very handy. Things you can also do is, let's find one here. I've got a video online, which I've already passed on to the people down there in Indiana, doing a little demonstration of UK type music. And you can get things that are even non-traditional sounds. You can also do things that even mimic, for instance, in this case, a bagpipe. If you go to that piece, you'll see the bagpipe. This one, you can have the drone. Just some examples, some of the sounds. If you want to hear the whole thing, you'll have to play back that particular arrangement of tunes I did. You can also do things which allow you to bend notes. Bending a note is, instead of hitting a note and getting that particular note, you would actually get a note that's a little bit low or high than working up to it. This is used like in jazz and things like that. Let's see if I can do it here. That's a straight note. A little bit of saxophone. But if I go like this, if I hit the note and then push it, so you can get a little bit of a bending a note. This is very useful for jazz, etc. You can also even do things if you want a pipe organ. Pipe organ sound. You may not be wanting to play church organ music, but you do have that capability. Also, what you can do is pick out various whole banks. What you do is there's a selection here, holding the button down, and allows you to pick a bank of 14 sounds. So what I've done, I've arranged them into an arrangement of one bank could be all Irish music, one could be French music, etc. So you can go something like this if you want French music. French sound. If you want to go to a guitar sound. You can do Italian. You can do a little Italian, a little bit of And if you like stuff with a little bit of mandolin, mandolin there. And there's things, possible sounds you can get are big band type sounds. You can get, one I liked a lot is, when is this appropriate for big band? And you can also get some sounds which are, even human sounds. Some of the early ones, you might have even heard some sounds on the left side. It's getting like a vocal, like a choir. You can do that also. And there are many sounds on this, but besides having the built-in sounds, you can also take those sounds and you can modify them. You might say, well, gee, that sounds like a program. Well, it's not programming like you think in computer programming. What it is, when you're setting up these user programs, you're assigning a sound to the left hand. You say, I like this particular tune with a clarinet, with a violin, piano, whatever. And then you take that sound, set that one up, go to the left side, pick out one you like for the bass side, one for the treble side, and then, the chord side. And then once you really like that, you can save that. You assign that to one of the banks of 1400. So whenever you want to bring that up, you just hit that combination and it has all those sounds. They'll say, well, gee, that's a lot of work. Well, you're right, it takes a little while to do that. But luckily, a lot of people like me and some other people on the Roland group have done that for you. My favorite, and one that most of us use, is a fellow back in California, a fellow I know very well. His name is Richard Knoll, and he sells sets of user programs. There's about, I think he's got about 40 banks, and there's 14 combination each one. And again, they're set up like I did with, one bank for Italian, one for German, one for jazz, one for slow waltz, one for whatever you want. And he saves a lot of trouble, and I recommend highly getting that. It's very inexpensive. It's probably about $125, I think, maybe a little bit more now, but about $125 to get the whole set. And he does it for all of the Roland accordions. So when you get it, it's just for your specific accordion, not for just generic. You have to modify it for each one. He sets it up for your accordion. In fact, if you go to most of the user groups, you'll find out that people think very highly of Richard. He's a great guy for that. You can go to YouTube itself and look for Richard Knoll, and you see a lot of examples of the type of music combinations he uses with the actual music, and he plays a demonstrant. He's a very fine musician. If you're interested in getting a Roland, what we recommend, there are couple groups at least, that most of us belong to on the internet. If you go to Yahoo groups, one is called the just Roland Accordion. And there's also one specifically for the different models. I belong to one also for the Roland 8X, but the generic Roland one is the one that most of us use the most. It's very handy. If you have a problem, you say, I got a problem, it doesn't do something, or something quit working or whatever, you can go there and people will help you out. Plus, they will also give you references. Say, well, if you have something, you want to buy something like, new set of straps, or you like to do something modifying it or whatever, there are people around the United States, independent parties, who will do stuff like that. And Roland does listen in there too, so if you have some major problems, you can also contact them through there. Okay, I think that's it for right now. I'm going to take a short break, and then when I come back, we'll continue with some other sounds. Okay, I'm back. Again, I could play a lot of tunes and demonstrate all the different things on this. We can even do that at a future date, but I wanted to really talk about how the accordion itself works when it's applied to one like this. First of all, a lot of people think that, this since it's an electronic one, it won't have the dynamics that accordion does. One of the advantages of an accordion over all kinds of instruments is that it has fantastic dynamics. I'm also an organist. I play electric and theater pipe organs, and an organ basically has volume pedal. You push it louder, it's quieter, and that's it. But the advantage of an accordion is that your accordion, compared to, say, a piano, when you hit a note, as you play it louder, push it out louder, and you go in quieter, okay? You also have the distinction of having your two sides separated. You've got the right-hand side can have completely different instrument sounds that you have on the left-hand side. And that is a big advantage on this type of an accordion. You can have very complementary sounds for your accompaniment and everything else. The other thing that's nice about this type of accordion, you can even adjust your bellows. As you notice, I am moving the bellows in and out, and the bellows use what they call a wind controller to adjust the volume. That allows you to, as you pull harder, just like a real accordion, it gets louder or quieter or whatever. You can adjust that. If you don't want to have to pump as much, you can adjust the amount of how hard you have to pump it. In fact, some people turn it off so they don't even pump it. They just sit there and play it without any pumping at all. People that play hours and hours and hours at end don't want to have to wear themselves out. So some people will do that. Myself, I like the bellows. I want the bellows to work because that is the whole heart and soul of an accordion. The bellows allow you to provide your dynamics. Okay. Other things that I like to talk about on this accordion is that everything is arranged very logically. Okay, this button down here, the little knob, controls everything. You go through, make all your selections with that. There's other knobs up here. One basically adjusts your volume, as we mentioned. This one here adjusts the balance from left to right. If you say, you know, I like to cut my bass side down a little bit so it's not quite as loud as the right side, wherever you can do that. Even though you can do that in your regular settings with the user programs for all the time, you still might want to fine tune it for some special reason. These down here, there's a reverb button, there's a chorus knob, there's even a repeat if you want to have things like an echo repeat, and that's very handy actually. Sometimes you want to have a little bit of, adds more depth to it. And you can adjust additional things with this last knob here, which adjusts your effects, you might say. If you want to have different types of modification to the sound, reverb, whatever, you can do that and have it actually adjustable a little bit. These various buttons here turn on and off various sections. As you were noticing, I was playing part of it like this. There's the accordion. If I push my knob in this setup, I have it set up, now it's playing a different instrument. Okay? You can also switch on and off the left side. If you want to have the accordion sound on both bass and chords, you can do that, or you can have it set up where you're playing different instrument sounds. A lot of times when I'm playing, I prefer to have the actual sound on the left side mimicking, you know, orchestral sounds. I can go back and forth. You can also turn off and on. This button right here turns off and on your drum sound. If you have percussion and you say, you know, I don't want it for this particular tune, you can just turn it off. These buttons at the top, and this accordion, the 8X, has 3 buttons, and these are what they call chin switches. It mimics some of the fancier accordions. I have a real exotic acoustic accordion that has 4 chin switches on it. All it is just doing the adjustment of the different reed sets you're selecting. But this one, you can not only assign the different reed sets, you can have it switch things like turning off and on your drums. You can have it going to the next sound you've got in order, working your way up. Picking different instrumental sounds. You can use it to trigger, if you have an external drum machine, whatever, you can use it for that. The buttons down here are your regular switches, just like they are on a regular accordion. There's 14 of them. And just like the regular accordion, they select different combinations. However, it's not just accordion. You can have it, each one selects a different user program, which will consist of either just accordion sounds. If I set it back to the just all accordion sounds on both sides, I can go through picking bassoon, you know, clarinet, master, musette, etc., piccolo, whatever you want. But you also use it to pick your different combinations. This accordion there's a little USB flash drive in here, and what I can do is I can not only use that to save my various combinations beyond on the accordion itself for taking to another accordion, I can also record the stuff I play, so I can actually go through and play something and it will record it just as I play it, which is very handy because that way you record it in here, later on transfer it onto a CD, and you can make yourself your CD without having any external equipment or anything. One thing that's also very nice about these accordions is that, let's say you're playing in Michigan where I live. I'm going to go visit in Indiana where you guys are. I said, you know, I don't want to haul my accordion on an airplane over there and take a chance of getting wiped out. If I know somebody has an 8X accordion over there, all I have to take is that little flash drive, take it over and plug it into their accordion and just load all those combination sounds, and now I am playing my accordion on their accordion. I've used that when I go back to California, where I'm originally from. And in California, I borrowed a friend's 8X accordion, plugged that in, and I was fully in business. And once you're done, you just put it back to his combination. So it's very, very handy. Okay, I think that just about does it. I'll just play the final tune, and this will sort of show what you can do. And this is the song I actually opened with, but I want to continue it on again with a different sound, a little bit different sound than I had before. When I started, I had only accordion sound. This time I'm going to have different sounds. I'm not going to change a bunch of stuff, just keep on playing. And you can see it works just like a real accordion.